Hey you guys, so yesterday I did a quick video on my profile about what you need to hear if you are stuck in a rut. If you are stuck in a rut and you need that video but you haven't seen it yet, check it out on my profile. You can just scroll down. And after I did that, a lot of you reached out to me saying, that is me, I'm in a rut, I do want to get out of it, but I just don't know what to do instead. I don't know what my career direction is. Please help. So today I'm hopping on here to talk about 4 concrete action steps that you can take in order to start getting clear on your purpose, on your career direction, so that you can know what to do to actually find work that will be perfectly aligned to you, that's gonna suit your skill set, that you're gonna be really excited about, and that's also gonna pay you a lot of money. All right, so we're gonna dive in, but just before we do, if this is you, if you're someone who's trying to figure out your career direction, just say hi below and let me know what kind of job is it that you're in right now. All right, so the first thing that you need to do, like if you're someone who's in one of these ruts where you're doing a job that's just paying bills and you know you need a change, but you don't know what it is, the first step, and this is such an important step, you absolutely cannot skip it, is to write down all of the costs associated with being where you are right now. And this is really something that people like to skip because nobody wants to think about sort of negative feeling things that don't feel good. But the truth is, most people do go through their lives doing jobs that pay bills, you know, because you got to go to work and you have to do what you have to do, and making jokes about, oh, I'll feel better when it's Friday, ha ha ha, and oh, can't wait till 5 p.m. Is it lunch break yet? You know, people joke around like that. That is the norm. And so if you don't want to be that person and you actually want to be in a job that you love, and you don't want to be like most people who do waste 70% of their time on the planet in some kind of a job that doesn't fulfill them, if that's not who you want to be, you'd better write down all of your reasons why that is not going to be you. And for a lot of you guys, there's a huge cost to being in a job that you don't love. Obviously, there's different spectrums of this. Some of you are in really terrible places. Like, I've talked to people who are in very toxic work environments that are affecting their health, that are affecting, I mean, I won't even name all of them now. There's so many costs associated with some of your workplaces and the things that you're doing. And a lot of people realize it's bad, but at the same time, they're so used to it. In a way, it's their comfort zone. And I've talked to people who have like ridiculously terrible jobs or workplaces that are seriously affecting them. I've talked to people who have ended up in the hospital because of their jobs, and they're still kind of like, well, it's bad, but you know, that's just reality, that's just how it is. So you really want to get clear on those costs. For some of you, they might be dramatic, like maybe you did actually get clinically depressed. Maybe you ended up in the hospital because of the stress levels, and that, like one lady I talked to, she actually ended up bedridden because of the stress and that effect on the body. Some of you, it's not that bad. And sometimes that is the even scarier situation, because when it's like not great, but also could be worse, that can really keep you stuck for ages. And usually when I talk to those people, they've really lost a sense of who they really are. So they become used to being someone who is, you know, just, I'm okay, and yeah, things are fine. And it's like they've lost that spark, they've lost that energy, but they don't realize they've lost that spark and they've lost that energy. They think that's just how they are. And it is so sad, like so sad that they're not really living as the person they're supposed to be. But a lot of times they have trouble recognizing that and recognizing there's another version of themselves out there, especially if they've never had a job that did light them up. So I've had clients, for example, Laura, when she first started her career, she was super excited about her work. She loved it. And so she understood what that feels like. And that is why 10 years later, when she got to the point where it no longer had that excited feeling, she realized, okay, I need to do something about this, because work is not supposed to be this draining and this boring. So she was able to recognize that. But a lot of people I talk to have actually never really experienced what it feels like to have an amazing job. And they might even doubt that that is a real thing. And if that's the case, it can be very difficult to believe that there is a job out there that you would love, that if it didn't pay you a single cent, you would do it anyway on a volunteer basis because you like it so much and it brings you so many things in your life. So the point is, I want you to really, really get clear wherever it is you are right now in your career, in that rut. Write down for you, what are all of the reasons, without sugarcoating anything, without being like, well, it could be worse. No, what are the reasons that for you it's not okay to just stay where you are right now? What are the reasons why you don't want to be someone who's just in a job that is okay? Why for you is it important to be someone who is out of that rat race, where you're someone who loves their job, you're excited to talk about your job is actually a source of some of the best experiences and some of the best growth in your life. I want you to write down a list, and I don't want you to wait for that. Like right after this video, start writing the list. All of the reasons why it's not okay to be where you are right now. Maybe it's the money. Obviously, and I've seen this time and time again, people who don't love their jobs earn significantly less than people who do. That's another misconception, that people think, well, if I do something I love, then I'll have to take a salary cut. I don't want that. Actually, like my clients, when they find jobs they love, they always get pay increases, not decreases. So these are things to consider. Like, how much money might you be losing out right now because you're in a job that's just okay, versus something that you love, that you're excited about, that you excel at. And when obviously you bring that energy into your job, you're going to get more promotions, you're going to be more in demand, you're going to earn more money. So the financial cost, the energy cost, how much less energetic are you because of being in a job that you don't love? What's the effect on your relationships? So who else is that affecting? Are you coming home at the end of the day to your significant other and you're a bit like, oh, I just want to watch Netflix and I don't really have energy to go and do that much? Or, what else? What for you are those costs? Is it a dream? Like, did you see yourself at this age doing something really exciting and having an amazing life, only to find yourself just having settled and really not having the future that you would have dreamed of? Like, have you given up on a childhood dream of yours? I don't know. What is it for you? And if you feel comfortable sharing, do let us know below, because the more you write this down, the more you start sharing this with other people and not hiding it, because a lot of times we're not even conscious of these things until we start admitting it to ourselves and also admitting it to other people. And then once you start doing that process, then it just becomes comfortable. Then it becomes easy to say, hey, I don't like my job anymore. I'm making a change. Here's what I'm doing. And so that is really, really important. The stopping hiding and starting to get out there and start vocalizing all this. All right. So number one is to make that list of all of the costs of staying where you are. And then the second thing is to start getting out of the norm. So you want to break out of that rut. Whatever your usual day in the life is right now, think of a way that starting today, you can do something different. So what is something that you normally do that you can shake up? So if you usually eat, I don't know, the same breakfast in the morning every day, what can you do that's different? Eat something different in the morning. Or if you usually walk a certain way to work or take a certain route, how can you switch up that route? Start with something really small that you don't normally do in your routine, and then the next day switch it up, do something more drastic and more drastic until you're doing a lot of things that you normally would never do. Maybe you're attending an event you would never normally attend. Maybe you're reading a book you would never normally read. But start really, really challenging your status quo, because if you are in a kind of a rut, if you are someone who is feeling stuck, then that is a comfort zone. And the only way to break into something better is to really, really challenge that comfort zone as fast as possible. Start small, but increase that as much as possible, as fast as possible. So I want you to let me know below, what is the one thing you're gonna do today to start stretching that comfort zone, just to do something different. Something that can help a lot is actually, if you have any days off work, is to take a day off work and just spend that day, not in bed, but just doing something that's a little bit crazy, like something that you would never do. That can be a really, really good way to start shaking things up and just get you out of that routine. And then the third thing is to actually start taking massive action. And that is a phrase that a lot of coaches use, like go for it, take massive action. And it's a bit like, what does that mean exactly, you know? And I think the issue with the action is that this is where a lot of people get stuck. You know, people are like, oh, I'm thinking about what I might want to do, but I'm not sure. And it's really, really important to get clear on what action can you take and to actually take that action, because otherwise everything stays in your head and you're going to have maybe different ideas of what to do, etc., but you're not actually going to act on anything. So think about, you know, you've already taken a little bit of action in terms of getting out of your comfort zone, switching up the routine, but now you need to do something that is definitely going to move you forward. So you might not be 100% sure if this is the thing that's going to lead to your direction, but what is one thing that you could do that might bring you closer to that? Write down a list of 5 things. So is there someone you should be talking to? Is there something you should be researching? You know, people are like, oh, I'm thinking of starting a business, so I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. Okay, well, do you have the information you need? Have you not acted on it because actually you don't know anything about that, right? Okay, sit down and schedule an hour to research it and find out what is the next step for that. I don't know, write down 5 actions, put them below, 5 action steps that you could take right now towards figuring out your direction. Some of you, like, you need to reach out for help. Maybe that action you need to take is hiring a coach to actually, you know, that is what they do all day long, help people figure out that direction, like give you an actual process towards figuring it out versus just winging it. And so these are all things for you to think about. And when you've written down that list of 5 action steps towards what you could potentially do, the one you should do first is the one that's the scariest to you. Because it's very easy, you know, to be like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, and then just stick to the things that feel the easiest. But most of the time, the thing that's really going to move you forward and get you out of that rut and get you to where you want to go is actually doing the one thing that feels the most scary and the most crazy and all of that. So those are the steps, all right? And for those of you who this is something, you know, some of you guys are in a space where you're like, oh, I'd like something better, but, you know, it's not that bad. So for you, you're probably not at a stage yet where this is something that is really serious for you. Maybe you have other priorities right now, and that's fine. But if for you this is something that you're realizing is really serious and you're really, really sick and tired of being stuck and you don't want to do this alone and you're tired of it going so slow, reach out to me. Like when I work with clients, we spend about 10 days figuring out your new direction. So imagine if in 10 days from now, you already knew, this is my ideal job role, this is what I'm doing, and you already have a plan of action towards making that happen, so that in another couple of weeks' time, you can actually have your first job leads in that new perfect role for you. This doesn't have to take a huge amount of time if you have an actual process towards doing it versus just, let me think about it and hope my sense of direction, my sense of purpose just hits me one day. So if that's you, if this is something that is really, really your number one priority right now, you need to figure this out, reach out to me and I'll see if you would be a good fit for the Accelerate Your Ambitions program. This is the 8-week program that I take my clients through. We work really, really closely together to figure out your new direction, the direction that's going to pay you lots and lots of money. Most of my clients land promotions, land pay increases, but that also you're going to love to do, and that's going to be something that you can build on for the next years of your life. So that's that in a nutshell. If you're interested, send me a message, and otherwise I'll see you guys on the next video. So thanks for watching and have an amazing day. I'll see you soon.